My name's Michael, but you can call me Sage. Welcome to the GolfHackr channel and welcome to the very first episode of Scratch22. Scratch22 is a project in human performance. I'm currently about a 22 handicap. Through the GolfHackr, I plan to document my journey as I attempt to become a scratch golfer by the end of 2022. This first episode is a course vlog filmed at my home club, the Cruise Hill Golf Club. This essentially marks the starting point for me, but don't be fooled. This was about the tidiest round of golf I've played in my life. I'll try to follow up with another round soon to get a better feel for the type of golfer I am. But without further ado, here we are, straight to number 1 of the Cruise Hill Golf Course. See you there. So for those of you that have stuck with me this far, I thought just as I go around the course here, I thought I'd unpack a little bit more about my story and how I got here. As I play down the first hole here, never had a drive that well off the first hole, but coming up just short of the green, I'll be chipping on here, putting for par. Sorry, where was I? So my story, my name is Michael Sage, but most people call me Sage or Sagey. I'm 30 years old. I'm a Kiwi or from New Zealand. Married my wife Belinda towards the end of 2018. And in August of 2019 we shifted here to London. Of course COVID hit shortly after that, and that put a bit of a stop to all our plans around travel and things. I've also always been a keen sportsman, and rugby has been my sport of choice for the last about 15 years or so. Obviously with COVID in the mix, wasn't able to play much team sport, and so off the back of that decided to pick up the golf. Golf has been something I've always played casually, maybe a handful of times every year, but until COVID struck, I'd never really played a lot of golf in quick succession, but for a period through COVID I played sort of once every couple of weeks, and I started to really enjoy the game, and so earlier this year I guess I decided that maybe this year I'd start to take my golf a little bit more seriously. Oh gee, that was a bad miss. Where was I? I thought I'd take my golf a little bit more seriously, so basically thought I'd maybe start to do a little bit of training, a little bit of practice, and see if I could get a little bit better. I've hooked that one miles away. That one's on the green, but not the green I was aiming for.
On the first green.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I guess once I'd made that decision to get better, or to try and get better, like many of us do these days, I turned to the internet, and I found a lot of great content. I don't know where that one came from. I found a lot of great content around improving your golf, but I found guys like Danny Maud, Rick Shields, Peter Finch. Some of these guys make some fantastic stuff, but truth be told, I found it all a little bit hard to relate to. Here's this very experienced, almost pro golfer, some of them, and they're telling you that all you need to do to fix your slices, maybe change your grip just a little bit, and it'll magically disappear. And I couldn't help but feel that was so far removed from reality for me, because I was taking these tips and tricks to the course, and not seeing any results. So I figured it must be the same for others as well. I mean, I never had any expectations that lots of these tips and tricks would just magically fix my game. Always knew that I was going to need to get lessons at some stage, but I guess what I wanted to work out was what were the challenges that lay ahead of me if I really wanted to have a good go at improving my golf. And so I came onto this idea of trying to track down someone on the internet that had walked the path before, basically documenting their journey to Scratch or to being a very, very sound golfer. I couldn't find anyone actually, and I found guys like the Dan Plan, who is a guy who quit his job and just spent all his time practicing his golf to see if he could crack professional golf. I think he might have got injured, which put a stop to it, but he made some pretty impressive gains doing that. And there's another guy called John Richardson, who also had a goal of breaking par within a single year, just playing one round and breaking par within a year, and he managed to do that, which was also quite impressive. But neither of them, or not to my knowledge anyway, had really documented or placed all that knowledge and that experience into some sort of recording or format that people could learn a bit more from, as far as all the actions they took, the specifics of the challenges they found with the game, whether it be their driving, their iron play, their putting, and so these were the types of things that I wanted to know, but I couldn't find any of this on the internet. So basically that's when the GolfHackr was born. I decided that if I walked that path myself, or attempted to anyway, and documented the journey, maybe one or two other amateur golfers out there that want to grow and improve their game, they'd get some benefit from that. And so here we are. Just wrapping up the first 9 here actually, which places me 10 over par. By far the best front 9 I've ever played on Cruise Hill. This one here, with nervous times, thought it was going to drop in out of bounds into the creek there, just short of the green, but it just managed to get over the top. So got a 19-footer here for birdie. Like most of my putting today, this one was rubbish and still left me a little bit of work to do, enough for me to miss, so it's more putts added to my score sheet. Despite my very poor putting throughout this round, it was actually very much the tidiest round of golf I've ever played here at Cruise. Cruise is quite a difficult course. I think as far as the World Handicap system goes and the stroke index of the course, I don't actually understand all that terminology just yet. I'm sure I will soon enough. But yeah, I think it's a reasonably difficult course. But the handicap I currently have is 22 or 21.8 or something like that, from playing at Cruise, and I've been hitting around 100 most of my rounds since starting at Cruise Hill, and this was by far a PB for me. Not the drive. That's a bit more reminiscent of my usual drives. Hooking that one onto the neighbouring fairway, which gives me a big sandwich over the top of the tree. I just managed to sneak this one over. And yeah, here we are with another very big challenge for any amateur golfer out there that wants to improve. I've flushed that one more so than I ever have with my 7-iron. I put it longer than the green when I was sitting at about 160 yards. So yeah, I mean, it's a tough road for an amateur golfer that wants to improve, and so, you know, by walking this path, these are some of the questions I hope to be able to answer. Is, you know, if you're a 20 plus handicap or a 10 plus handicap, you know, what are the drills, what are the practice regimes, what are the things you need to be doing to see the biggest benefits to your game. And obviously I can't uncover the answers to all those questions on my own, and so I've actually built a team to help me on my way. So Lee Fickling in Caroline out at Cruise Hill Golf Course are the two PGA pros that currently work at Cruise Hill, and they've both very kindly offered to lend me a hand with my training. So I'll be looking to get a lesson from them every couple of weeks. That's the other thing I want to do with this journey, is to make it relatable as possible to any amateurs out there that want to grow and improve their game. I'm only going to train outside of sort of the regular 9 to 5. I'm still working full time myself, and so that's certainly the plan. So that'll just help to make it a little more relatable to anyone that wants to follow along, and maybe come with me on the journey to Scratch. So Lee and Caroline are my coaches. Then I'm very thrilled to have the input of Dr. Gary Hermanson, who is one of the top sports psychologists in New Zealand. He's worked with top athletes and teams right up to Olympic champion level, and together with Gary we'll be unpacking the mental side of performance in sport. So starting with some very basic tips and tricks that any golfer can use on the golf course to improve their game. As I start to get a little bit better, we'll get a little bit more technical and a little bit complex with unpacking some of the principles and things behind strong mental performance in the game. I think mental performance is a hugely, in my opinion, it's a hugely overlooked area for amateurs that want to improve. So I'm hoping I'll be able to find some quick wins for myself and maybe for others out there as well. So the final part of my team is an old friend named Dan Snowden. Well, that was going a long way, that one, if I missed that. Sorry, Dan Snowden, an old friend of mine. He's a former scratch golfer himself, and he's now a personal trainer. He lives in Melbourne, but I've been talking to him a little bit about the whole thing. He was very keen to get involved in some capacity, and so with Dan, we are going to look at the physical component of playing golf. He's going to help me with my conditioning. I've always enjoyed training, and so part of what I'll do here is do a fair bit of golf specific training and conditioning, certainly to achieve a scratch handicap by the end of next year. I'm going to need all the help I can get, and doing a bit of training in the gym or wherever it be to help me on my way with that is certainly the plan. Another bad miss there, adding a couple more putts to the score sheet within just a few feet. Again, the duck hook's back in my drive. We plugged this one, I think just short of the green it was. So that's the plan. I hope any other amateur golfers out there that want to improve, I'm hoping there's going to be something in here for you. If you have specific questions that you want answered, if you're an amateur golfer that has gotten stuck maybe around a 15 handicap or a 10 handicap, maybe a 20 handicap, 20, I don't know, whatever it is, if you have questions that you think with my team we might be able to answer, or depending on where I get with this journey, let me know. You can find me at the GolfHackr across Twitter, YouTube, my website, thegolfhackr.com, and you can actually reach me at mike@thegolfhackr.com as well. Would love to hear from you. Buzz off, mate. Would love to hear from you, and certainly hear what you think. Am I being too ambitious, aiming to reach scratch by the end of next year? I don't know. We'll find out.
Cheers for the game, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Hold on.
So there it is. If you've stayed with me this far, thanks for joining. I truly appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, want to join the journey, or maybe you want to get better at golf, you can find me at the GolfHackr.
Like and subscribe, baby.